Hey everybody, I'm Shane Ireland.
And I'm Michael Cappellini.
Welcome to another episode of Smoke Rings. I'm joined by my good friend Michael, North American brand ambassador for Toscano Cigars. Thanks for being here, man. Good
Excited.
to see you.
As always, excited, buddy. Thank you.
Now, what are we smoking today, and what is in this glass?
We are smoking the Master Aged number 3. The Master Aged blends, there's currently 4 of them that we have here in the United States. The number 3 is what we call in Italy the Americano.
Okay.
It's all American tobacco.
Beautiful.
From Kentucky, Tennessee. It's a really nice, it's a full-bodied cigar, but not super overpowering because of the specific aging process that we have with the Master Aged.
Yeah.
Okay? Unlike the rest of the Toscano blends that we have, these particular cigars, the Master Aged, are kept under the watchful eye and artisanal hands of our affinatore, or our refiner, who checks the humidification level and temperature throughout the entire year-long aging process.
Yeah.
So they have a lot more of the, this is the uber premium side of Cigaro Toscano.
I will say, too, right off the bat, before we get into the specifics in this pairing that you have prepared for us, one thing I noticed as an avid Toscano smoker for many, many, many years, I have, like many things I'm obsessed with, maybe a little bit too deep of a cellar. These are, we just grabbed these straight out of the humidor.
Yep.
From downstairs here at Low Country Pipe and Cigar, the physical store for smokingpipes.com. This, on the first light, has such a mature flavor profile.
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think is interesting about the Master Age series. And I've been fortunate enough to visit Lucca and see some of the normal processes. Tell me about the Master Age process, what makes it different, and how we get to this, well, what really feels like an extremely old Toscano already.
Yeah. So, I mean, something that I think what really differentiates the Master Age, well, Toscano tobacco in general, but the Master Age too, when we say that it's aged for 12 months, that's post-roll.
Absolutely.
The majority of Toscano tobacco that we have is at least aged for 18 months before the roll, if not even a little bit longer.
Absolutely.
These are even a little bit more like 2 years.
Okay.
So that's why you have a more antiquated flavor profile to it. And the medium, there's a mixture of medium and long fill in here.
Okay.
Believe it or not. So when you cut it, it's not, you can tell that it's medium long fill. I think that adds to the flavor profile too, but I think a lot of that antiquated, nostalgic sensation you're getting is from the fire cure.
It's from the fire cure.
It's from the hickory heavy fire cure.
It's the sort of caramelized kind of notes, and yeah.
And this is, unlike some of the other Toscano, for me, one of the first puffs, it's like a cioccolato fondente, as we say, a dark chocolate. It's not so much that milk chocolate, that light chocolate. It's a real dark chocolate sensation to the tobacco. So definite earthy tones as you continue to smoke it. We chose to smoke this alla Marimana whole today to give a nice understanding of the cigar. And when we go into the pairing very shortly with the Godfather drink, which is a 1-to-1 mixture of, I use Woodford, and Amaretto di Saronno.
Perfect.
So,
well, cheers to that.
Salute, buddy.
Salute.
So when I do,
before I drink, tell me what you would prefer me to do here.
Yeah. So we're going to go through a 4-stage.
I just couldn't help myself.
Listen, I get it 100%. The pairing sessions that I go through are 4 stages, and I do it for a particular reason. Number 1, the first one that we do is to help you understand the complexity of the tobacco. The second one is to understand the complexity of the alcohol.
Okay.
The third is cleansing the nasal palate and really grasping a nice, clean, crisp flavor profile from the tobacco.
Yeah.
And then the fourth is just a little something extra I add that's just a lot of fun for everybody and everybody loves. So,
perfect. Let's do it.
So, first thing I want us to do is take a nice big puff of the cigar.
Yeah.
When you do that, let the tobacco sit for a second or two. Really understand the flavor profile. Retrohale if you retrohale.
Yep.
And then release.
They're so good.
No, really.
It's ridiculous.
Okay.
And for an all-American blend, it is so approachable.
It is. It's scary looking. They're scary looking, but they're very, very approachable. So go ahead and take a sip of the alcohol now. Now we can do the salute.
Salute. Damn.
Isn't that lovely?
It's so good.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And then go ahead and take another puff of the cigar.
Oh, wow.
So on the palate, it's very light. Even lighter than, you said it was approachable.
Yes.
This is like smoking a Garibaldi compared to an all-American tobacco. So
Absolutely.
The differential in that is, just so our viewers understand, is Southern Italian tobacco is arguably some of the lightest tobacco.
Yes.
Because of the soil composition due to the eruption of Mount Vesuvius and the fire cure with oak. And what really comes to fruition on the retrohale for me is the wood wood fire cure.
Yes.
100%.
The wood fire cure, almost those mesquite notes.
Yep.
Man.
A little bit of molasses, the sweetness from both the
yeah.
drink and the tobacco itself. So, and again, every palate differentiates, right? So you might get something a little bit different. The point isn't to get you to say, "Wow, Michael, you're 100% right."
Of course.
It's to get you to understand how complex this tobacco is, even though it's so simplistic looking.
Absolutely.
How complex the tobacco
Absolutely.
is. By the way, for our viewers out there that aren't familiar with Toscano cigars, one of the most important things to understand is Toscano is a lot like pipe tobacco in that if you talk a lot, which I tend to,
Yes.
it goes out on you.
Absolutely.
It does not mean it's a bad cigar.
Don't be afraid of the relights.
No, really.
Yeah.
It's just a thick, oily leaf. And the good thing about Toscano is you could relight this 100 times and it's not going to change the flavor profile
Absolutely.
of the cigar.
So let me interject there super quick to speak some pipe language. It's actually very common with the guys that I know, the Italian guys that are really heavy Toscano smokers. A lot of them are pipe makers. It's often that they do the delayed gratification technique. So what they'll do, especially if we go to dinner, all of us will maybe go outside after the first course, smoke the first 10 minutes of the cigar or so, leave them on the windowsill, go back inside, eat the rest of your meal, and then come back out and smoke them later. And it's amazing.
Yep.
Like they get even sweeter, I think, when you let them go out for a few minutes. But it's one of the things about Toscano cigars that for me makes them so convenient and so versatile in how you enjoy them, is that you don't really have to worry about setting it down for a minute if you're working or if you're golfing or whatever you're doing. You don't have to try really hard to keep it lit.
Absolutely.
And they're very forgiving in that sense.
They are, and again, it's I think that's one of a big selling point too. You know, it's funny as I'm talking, because I haven't taken a puff since I had the drink. I'm getting the smell of fermenting tobacco on my palate.
Interesting.
Like I'm tasting the smell of the fermenting tobacco.
Yeah. So if I could, so I can't get this one thing out of my head. I got it on the first light. I was thinking like there's like some dark, I was going to say maybe wine-like. I was going to say maybe something a little syrupy and fruity. The minute that I took the drink, chocolate-covered cherries.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Big time. Huge.
Especially on the retro too.
Oh,
That's where you get it.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. It's like a Luxardo cherry and like a dark chocolate.
And a dark chocolate. That's absolutely
amazing.
right. Absolutely right. And that's why I like our Toscanello Cioccolato, because that's literally...
It's like the perfect,
It's unbelievable. So, all right, so the second stage, so now that we understand a little bit of the complexity of the tobacco, we understand the cigar, etc., let's try to understand the alcohol. And again, Shane, I apologize on making you work so hard today.
Oh yeah, this is tough. Somebody's got to do it.
Salute.
Salute.
Cheers.
I've always been a fan of this cocktail, but God, it is so good.
It's unbelievable.
It's so simple and so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
Now go ahead, when you're done, take a puff of the cigar.
Mm-hmm. I could do this all day.
I know. It's light. It's very light. Mm-hmm. And again, I think I'm getting from the amaretto that cherryness, a little bit of hazelnut too, that chocolate, that deep, rich caramel, the dark fire cure molasses as it dissipates off the palate. Now go ahead and take another sip of the drink. Now what you get with that is the initial hit on the palate is sweet cherry sugar from the amaretto, but then the alcohol comes to the forefront, right?
Yeah.
You might get a little bit of a burn in the chest. That's all indicative of the smoke kind of grasping and pulling onto the alcohol itself.
Yeah.
It really changes the whole drink ultimately, right?
Yeah.
So the third, the third part of the pairing is arguably the most important in my opinion. Mm-hmm. And when I do my events, I always make sure that we do this part because it really is imperative to understand anything that you're tasting. Mm-hmm. So we're sitting in a room right now, ventilated, nice, there's not a lot of smoke, it's just you and I smoking, etc. your nasal cavity's tainted no matter what at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the second you take one puff, that's it.
Absolutely.
Your nasal cavity's tainted. So what I want to do is cleanse the nasal palate, and we're going to do that with the air from the drink.
Okay.
We're not going to run it under our nose. We're actually going to take a sip of the drink, aerate the drink like you do with wine, suck air over the alcohol, and blow the air
through the nasal,
not the alcohol out your nose. So watch, I'll do it, and then we'll do it together. Okay?
Do it so I don't mess up here.
Well, listen, I've spit alcohol on some Italian dignitaries' feet before, so you know that's why I'm a pro at it. So.
Okay, I think I got it. Let's see.
All right.
Wow.
Yeah. Really clean feeling on the nose. Nice cherry front again because of the amaretto.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
A little bit of the oaky too from the cask of the Woodford.
Mm-hmm.
Now, take a puff and retrohale this.
Retrohale.
Yes.
Wow. A lot more flavor, a lot more complexity.
Yep. A lot more spice.
A lot more spice.
A lot more spice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Even some herbal qualities coming
100%.
through that weren't there.
A little bit of clove.
Before.
There's some clove there.
Yes, little clove. I was going to say like anise or allspice or something, but clove is more.
And then also what you start to get to, in my opinion, is a little bit of what's the word I'm looking for? Cinnamon. A little bit of cinnamon.
Just warming spices.
Yeah, like maybe not more of a warming, like a nutmeg, cinnamon.
Oh, you know what? With the drink, actually, I was looking for this earlier. It's like a mulled wine a little bit.
Oh yeah,
like with the fruity notes and the cinnamon and the clovey. Yeah,
do you do mulled wine at Christmas?
I do.
See, I do, but it's not my favorite. I have trouble.
It's like that thing once a year I crave.
Yeah, but I have trouble boiling wine.
I hear you.
That's my problem. So, all right. So the last stage, the fourth part of this particular pairing, we're actually going to smoke the alcohol.
Okay.
Yeah. This happened by accident over COVID.
Uh-huh.
I was in my studio that I created, and I actually coughed, not because of COVID. I just coughed in general.
Yeah.
And smoke went on the drink that I was drinking.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So first thing I want us to do, take a sip of the drink real fast. Let it kind of sit on the palate.
Mm-hmm.
Delicious.
So good.
Now, take a nice puff of. Now, watch what I do, and then do it. We're gonna take a nice puff and not blow the smoke, but release the smoke onto the alcohol.
Onto the alcohol. Yours is much better than mine.
So you're gonna want to get that thick.
Let me see. I'm gonna try again. It just looks so good.
I know.
It's everything I love in one cup.
Literally.
Mm-hmm.
Literally.
Okay, let's see. So the trick to get it to be this beautiful is to do it nice and slowly.
Nice and slow, and tip your glass.
Got it.
So the alcohol sits almost at the rim, because what happens is the sugar holds the smoke down.
Mm.
That's better. There you go. Much better. There
Look
you
at
go.
that.
See?
Look at that.
Teaching little tricks of the trade here, right?
And I've been smoking and drinking for decades.
Yeah. So now go ahead. Wait, hold on.
Okay.
You're going to want to cover your glass.
Yeah.
Kind of swirl it a little bit.
Okay.
Okay. And if you actually look close, it looks like the smoke is going to turn like a little bit of a brownish color.
Yeah, it is.
Like a caramel color.
A little yellowy, a little.
You're going to want to turn the cup a little bit and release it so the smoke still stays. Okay. And then go ahead and take a sip before the smoke dissipates.
One more.
Salute. And what you get is a sweet cherry bomb.
Oh my God.
There's no bourbon, no alcohol to it whatsoever.
The aromatics are insane.
Yep.
I mean, I've had smoked cocktails like at a bar and stuff, but this is just a whole new level.
Yep.
They should be using dark fired tobacco and not like wood chips or whatever
they should be. I concur. But yeah,
it's amazing.
It's crazy.
That's amazing.
Isn't it?
That's amazing.
I know.
So, let me ask you this. I want to talk a tiny bit about the profile of the Master Age number 3 before we conclude.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you have done this trick with nearly everything in the Toscano portfolio.
That's correct.
What is your favorite pairing with a Godfather in the Toscano portfolio?
The Duecento.
The Duecento.
By far.
Okay, now tell me why.
Because it's more of a full-bodied cigar. To me, I think that you get more of a bang for your buck, if that makes sense, when it's a really powerful tobacco, because it actually nullifies the alcohol even more.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So that's realistically
That's
what
super
it
cool.
is. Yeah.
That's super cool.
And the Macerage number 4 goes really well with it, too.
I believe it. Yeah, I believe it.
Yeah.
Also, I could see Antica Reserva working.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
To me, the Antica Reserva though is a little bit lighter than the Duecento.
Oh, absolutely.
Number 4,
Absolutely.
So, yeah. But yeah, I mean, ultimately, it's fun, it's interesting, but it's also a great way to get people to really. It's experiential, and that's what we have to do for Toscano, especially for those that don't smoke it, because we're a scary-looking cigar.
Yeah.
You know,
everybody. The perception is that they're very strong and for sure, and they are. They're full-bodied cigars, but again, I mean, as somebody who smoked them sort of rapidly for years, they're more of an all-day smoke than you might think.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Coming back to the cigar after all of that, I'm surprised how much of the dark fired and the mesquite sort of vibe is tamed down. I'm tasting much more of the like sort of fruity notes and the herbal quality, and like
to me the molasses really starts to supersede the other flavor profiles that's there. You get more of a sweetness than anything to the tobacco.
The molasses is absolutely there. There's also something that's nearly like a shortbread or something like that. Like,
I like the direction you went. The first one with the
Danish butter
cookie. Now the shortbread. I'm in it. You know, because it's not always the rye, because a lot of people use rye in their thing, but it's this is just different. It's a whole different beast.
Well, if you're talking about rye, I usually associate the spiciness of like a rye whiskey compared to a bourbon. You hear people say dill, you hear them say mint, like all of these very sharp herbal notes, and I definitely get that with some dark fired leaf as well.
Definitely the mint for me, like a menthol mint type sensation on the palate that kind of cools it, but then also cleanses it at the same time.
Almost like the piney, hoppy kind of vibe that you get from a certain from beers that are like hopped very heavily.
Right.
God, that's so crazy. And again, I do think that the process on the master aged, the fact that this is 100% American, it's sort of mind-blowing.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah.
I like the stronger stuff. I love the Duecento. I like the Antica Reserva. I like a lot of the like heavier, even the 1492.
Which is another all-American tobacco. A little bit of what we call the 1492 a pancha larga, fat belly.
Fat belly.
So, this isn't as fat as the 1492. But, yeah, I mean, listen, and that's the beauty of it. And I know after understanding the pipe tobacco side a lot more now.
Yeah.
The slightest little addition or subtraction of a particular tobacco can change the cigar completely.
It changes it completely.
So,
that's always one thing as a Toscano fan that I always found so curious is like, you have Italian dark fired, granted from several regions. You have American dark fired, again from several farms over a couple of states. But it's remarkable to me what the blenders, what Massimo and Danilo are able to do with technically one component.
100%.
Technically just one
100%.
component. I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Yeah.
The complexity that they can achieve, the variation between all of the blends.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to sit around and talk to a lot of cigar blenders, a lot of pipe tobacco blenders. But those two guys, I mean, they're the only ones that on paper are working in such a narrow range of components available to them.
Yet can
and still
provide such a vast portfolio of tobacco. Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy. So,
God, that was amazing.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. That's, just a little trick. And again, the whole point is to get people to understand the experience and what we are at Cigar Toscano.
Absolutely. One more quick question before I let you go.
Yeah.
I'm definitely going to be trying this again with another Godfather or two. Have you tried the same trick with some straight spirits, like straight whiskey?
Oh, yeah.
100%. It's worth exploring?
It is 100% worth exploring. I will tell you that I think this is so impactful because you have a bourbon that is very straightforward, powerful, American, and then you add in the sweetness and the fruitiness of the Amaretto di Serrano, it really gives a bigger differential. You're not going to see as big a differential with the biggest differential you'll see in the 4 steps is going to be when you smoke it.
Yeah.
Because that's going to, whatever the cast is in whatever you're drinking, it's going to kind of pull that flavor profile out more than the actual alcohol content itself.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
There's also something beautiful about the fact that we got an Italian spirit and an American spirit in here, and so much of the Toscano portfolio.
Listen, I've done this a couple times.
I'm sure that's intentional.
I know what to pick.
But I love that. I love that.
Yes.
Michael, thank you so much.
Thank you,
I really enjoyed it.
Always a pleasure.
We got some customers downstairs waiting to do the same thing, so let's do it.
See you guys.
Master Age number 3. Thank you, guys.